Okay, as you can very well see, we have separated this irregular shape. So we form the trapezoid here, and we form the rectangle. And they've given us some numbers. They've given us 10 for the top of the width of the rectangle. And given us 16 for the height of the rectangle. So we know that this rectangle, and we know it's a rectangle because it has 3 right angles. And if it has 3 right angles, then the last one has to be 90. Okay? So now, what we need to do here is just identify the shapes. We'll call this shape A and call this shape B. Shape A is a rectangle, and we know that the area of a rectangle is the length times the width, or the base times the height. So all we have to do here, because they've given us everything here, is multiply this 10 times 16, or 16 times 10. Actually, they've given us 18 for this here. And what we did, we decided to subtract. We know this is 10, and we know this side is 10. So we know if we subtract 10 from 18, this other part here would be 8. So they actually gave us the number 18 to start off with this irregular shape. And now we know this is a trapezoid, because if we take this and go straight up here and take this side, these two lines are going to meet. But this side here, and this side here would never meet. They're parallel lines. Okay? So we know a couple of things here. We know this is a trapezoid, and we know this is a rectangle by definition. So we'll call this base 1, we'll call this base 2. And they've given us the height over here of this rectangle, which is 16. If you follow me with the light blue colors here, this is 16. And they've given us this height here, which is 6. So if we subtract 16 minus 6, that's going to give us 10 here for this part of the trapezoid shape here, the height of the trapezoid. And because this entire length here was 18, we know we subtract 10 from 18, we get 8. And they gave us the number here for 4, the top of the trapezoid. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go to the next shape with it together. And we look here and we see that this trapezoid here is together. So here we are. Now, when you put the two shapes together, and we see how we've broken it down to find out the answer for this, the size, the length, the heights that we need that were not given to us. So we find out this is 6, this is 16. We subtract 16 from there, we get 10 here. This is 4 here for the base 1. Base 2 is because they gave us 18 going across here. We subtract this length, which is the same as this length down here. We subtract that from 18 and we get 8. So we know this is 8. So now we have all our numbers that we need to plug in the values for the trapezoid, which is 1/2 times the height times base 1 plus base 2. So 1/2, you can turn 1/2 into 0.5. You can divide everything by 2 once you get your answer, or you can just take the height and do 10 divided by 2, which is 5. And then you can take the parentheses here and just plug in base 1, base 8, base 1, 4 for base 1, 8 for base 2. And we know if we divide 10 divided by 5, we get 10 divided by 2, we get 5. And once we multiply what's in the parentheses based on the order of operation, you have 4 plus 8, which give us 12. And then we multiply 5 times 12, which give us 60. So now we have the area of the trapezoid, which is 60. And then we have the area of the rectangle, which is 160. Okay? So remember, you can just divide your height in half and come up. If you can do it the other way, you'll see it come out the same. So if you can divide your height by 2, you'll see that it will be much easier, because then you can do it in your head. You really don't need a calculator to try to figure out what the answer would be. So now, once we have 60 for our trapezoid, the area of our trapezoid, and 160 for the area of our rectangle, all we need to do now is just take these two numbers and add them together, and we get 160 for the area of the rectangle, 60 for the area of the trapezoid, and we get 260 square feet, which would be the area of our entire irregular shape. That would give us the area of our irregular shape. So that would give us the area of our irregular shape. Area of the shape. Okay? So there we have it. Now, you might want to try to do this several ways to make sure that you really understand it, because you can do it more than one way.